minor flow, right? The minor flow, if it's a 90%, 10% ratio, right? The minor flow is only 0.6 milliliters per minute, okay? Controlling that flow is very difficult, but actually using, taking then particles from that flow and then putting them into some of these devices to detect how many particles are getting through is almost impossible, okay? So it's very difficult. This is one of the challenges that we have. In fact, we built this whole system up here in the lab just to try to essentially measure the little virtual impact which was here. But we actually have made some ground on that. We have at least one technique that works reasonably well, and we call this, it's essentially, maybe a bad name, but we call this optical gravimetry, right? So basically what we're doing is we're doing an equivalent of gravimetric testing, except we're interrogating the filters optically, okay? So the idea is that we have this very low flow rate that's actually being controlled by the peristaltic pump. Ben spent many hours in our lab trying to get the flow just right and actually generating these filters. We have very small filters that are both that are either at the inlet or at the outlet of our virtual impactor. We have a particle generation station that also dries the particles, right? We're pulling the particles through, but then of course, at these flow rates, we don't really see any accumulation, any significant accumulation here of the particles that can amount to any change in mass. But if we use the right type of filters, we actually can see them optically, right? So here is, some particles upstream of the impactor, of the virtual impactor. Here are some particles downstream, right? We have the same flow rate. We have the same concentration of the particles, approximately. And then we can actually count the particles optically in an optical microscope.